Hello dears, today I am here with you to discuss about the concept of Purusha. You know, Ayurveda accepts the presence of Atma, Ayurveda accepts the presence of rebirth, Ayurveda accepts the presence of Supreme God. So, Ayurveda is an Astika Darshana. It's a part of an Astika Darshana that believes in God. Okay? And the Purusha concept in Ayurveda, it is much more related with the Sankhya philosophy. See, Sankhya is a Nastika Darshana. But the Purusha concept of Ayurveda mainly is extracted from the Sankhya Darshana, even though it has traces with the Nyaya, Vaisheshikam, etc. Okay? The Prakriti Purusha concept. The Triguna Sampanna Prakriti and Nirguna Purusha concept. So let us discuss about the concept of Purusha. Regarding your syllabus, Atma can be asked in both papers, that is Kriya paper 1 and paper 2. Why? Because Thadupeda Purusha, role of Chigilsadhikrita Purusha, all those things are explained as syllabus points in first paper. And etymology of Atma, synonyms of Atma, importance of Atma and science of Atma, all those things are written as syllabus points in second paper. So Atma can be asked in first paper and second paper. It is a sure question. You can take all the question papers asked in physiology. You will get one question from this Atma part. Okay. So these are the common questions asked. You can see the common questions asked. These are the common questions asked. So let us discuss all these questions. You have to take notes. You have to write down notes. You have to make a small note on Atma. Okay. This is an introductory slide to make you understand what is Atma. So all the things in this universe can be categorized into two. Living things and non-living things. Non-living things contribute major part, right? Living things are only little bit that is present in earth only, right? So living things and non-living things. And you know the difference between living things and non-living things. What? Living things can grow, living things can reproduce, living things can move, and living things can respond with the environment, etc. Right? Difference between living things, non-living things. According to Ayurveda, everything in this universe is made of Panchabhutas that we have discussed in the previous slides, right? So everything in this universe is made of Panchabhutas. And Panchabhutas, when comes in contact with an Atma, then that Panchabhuta will be having a life, adding a life to it, so that it can live, it can move, it can grow, it can reproduce, it can attain pleasures from the environment, it can enjoy the beauty of nature. So, what is the difference between living and non-living thing? Both living thing and non-living thing are made of Panchabhutas, but a living thing has an Atma in it to enjoy the other material things. So that is the difference between living thing and non-living thing according to Ayurveda. What are living things in Ayurveda? It can be classified into Stavaram and Jangamam. Stavaram means the plant species. It can be classified into Vanaspati, Vanaspatyam, Virutha and Aushadhi. You studied that, right? And Jangama, the animal species, can be classified into Jarayujam, Andajam, Svedajam and Udbhijam. So, all these things, Stavaram and Jangamam, will be having an Atma in it, right? So, living things and non-living things. Hope you got the concept of Atma. Hope you got the concept of Purusha. Atma and Purusha are same. So, Atma and Purusha are same, and Atma provides life to the Panchabhuta, making it a living thing. Next is about the definition and etymology of the term Purusha. So what is the definition of Purusha? Atmeva sharirarahidam Purusha shabdarthatvena vachyam. So your human body, your body or body of any living thing is having two entities. one is a Panchabhuta entity and two is a much different entity, which is the Atma. So any living body will be having a Panchabhuta limb and an Atma limb. So what is this Atma called? When it is devoid of Shariram, you are not speaking about the Shariram, you are speaking about the Atma only, then that is called Purusha. So Purusha is the Atmeva Sharira Rahidam Purusha Shabdarthatvena Vachyam. Once more, Atmeva Sharira Rahidam Purusha Shabdarthatvena Vachyam. When you separate Atma from the Sharira, then that Atma is called Purusha. And what is etymology of Purusha? Pura Agragamane. Pura Agragamane, that means that which travels first. So when a living thing die, when a living being die, what will leave first? It is the Atma. Why it is dead? Because Atma leaves the Panchabhaudika Amsha. When Atma leaves the Panchabhaudika Amsha, the living thing is declared as dead. So who leaves first? It is the Atma. Then there occurs a decomposition of the Panchabhaudika element. So Pura Agragamane, that which travels first. Then Puri Shete iti Purushaha Puram Shariram. So Sharira is considered as Puram, or it is considered as a city, Puram. And who resides, who rules that city? It is a Purusha. So Puri Shete iti Purushaha. Those who reside inside the Puram, those who reside inside a house, those who reside inside a city can say different meaning. So the only thing is that resides inside the Puram. Puram means Sharira. Is called Purusha. So etymology Pura Agragamane or Puri Shete iti Purushaha Puram Shariram. Then about the synonyms of Purusha. There are 5 synonyms. See, Shashvatam, Vibhu, Avyayam, Atma and Kshetrajna. Shashvatam, you know, it is eternal. Since it is not formed, it is eternal. Only a formed thing can undergo decay. So since it is not formed, it is already present much before the evolution of the universe. It is eternal, Shashvatam. Then it is Vibhu, means ever pervading. What is the meaning of Vibhu? You can't find any space where Atma does not dwell. So anything and everything there is Atma. Then it is called Avyaya, means one without change. So Atma will not be undergoing any change. It will not age, it will not die, it will not attain any gunas, it will not have this sattva, raja, tamo, guna, permutation and combination will not change. So Atma will remain in that form only. Atma can never change. So it is called Avyaya. Then Atma, Ata Satatya Gamani, that which always travels. Why? Because it travels from my body to my next birth, then to next birth, to next birth. So Atma is the one that travels. So it is called Atma, Ata Satatya Gamani. Then Kshetrajna. You have studied Kshetram as a synonym of Shariram. Kshetrajna means the one who lives in Kshetram. Then comes a very important slide, types of Purushan. You have studied this logam, I hope. Khadeha, Chetana Shashta, Thadavaha, Purusha Smrita. Chedana Thadurapi Eka, Smrita, Purusha Sapnaga. Punascha Thadu Bhedena, Chaturvimshatika Smrita, Mano, Dishendriyani, Arthaha, Prakritishta, Ashtadatuki. Khadeha, Chetana Shashta, Thadavaha Purusha Smrita, Chedana Thadurapyeka, Smrita Purusha Sapnaga, Punascha Thadu Bhedena, Chaturvimshatika Smrita, Mano Dishendriyani, Arthaha, Prakritishta, Ashtadhaduki. It is taken from Charagam, Sharirasthanam, Katita Purushiyam Adhyayam. In the previous slide, we have seen that there are three types of Purushas explained in Ayurveda. One is Chedanadhatu Purusha, then Shatdhatu Purusha and Chaturvimshadika Dhatu Purusha. And you have studied in your Tarka Sangraha classes that any soul that dwells inside a living thing is called Jivatma. Any soul, the soul that dwells in a living thing is called Jivatma. So, this Chedanadhatu Purushan, Shatdhatu Purushan and Chaturvimshadika Dhatu Purushan will be different forms of Jivatma. So, you have one Jivatma dwelling inside every living body, and it has three forms: Chedanadhatu Purushan, Shatdhatu Purushan and Chaturvimshatika Dhatu Purushan. What are the distinctions? What are the why they are different, depicted as different forms of Jivatma? First, we can discuss about Jivatma. Before that, let me remind you, you have studied in Tarka Sangraham Jnana Adhikaranam Atma Sadvivita Paramatma Jivatma Cha Tatra Ishwaraha Sarvatnyaha Paramatma Eka Eva Jivatma Pratishariram Bhinno Vibhuhu Nityam Cha. So, Atma can be divided into two: Paramatma or the Supreme Soul and the Jivatma or the soul that is residing inside every living being. What is the main distinction? Paramatma is a Supreme Soul which is only one, but Jivatma is innumerable. We can't count the number of Jivatma. Why? Because we can't count the number of living things. In all living things, there exists a Jivatma. So Paramatma and Jivatma are the two types of Atmas. So, about Jivatma, see the definition. Jivatma Pratishariram Bhinnau Vibhuhu Nityam Cha. See, though it is residing in each and every living being, what is its magnitude? It is Vibhu. It is ever pervading, just like the Paramatma. So, there are two Atmas, Paramatma and Jivatma. Paramatma is a Supreme Soul which is single, which is omnipresent, which is omnipotent, which is omnipowerful and ever-pervading Vibhu. Jivatma, Acharya says that each and every living body will be having Jivatma, but the Jivatma is Vibhu, which is ever-pervading, just like the Paramatma. How can that happen? That we will discuss. And Jivatma is Nitya too. It is not produced, it is not formed, it is Nitya. It is there even before the evolution. Okay? Jivatma Pratishariram Bhinnau Vibhuhu Nityam Cha. So this is an important question that is always repeatedly asked. What is the difference between Paramatma and Jivatma? We have discussed. You first write the definition. Paramatma and Jivatma Tatra Ishwaraha Sarvatnyaha Paramatma Eka Eva Jivatma Pratishariram Bhinnau Vibhuhu Nityam Cha. Then about the evolution. Paramatma, when comes in contact with the Prakriti, Srishti happens. So before the evolution of universe, before the formation of universe, you have only Prakriti and Purusha. What is Prakriti? It is a very minute form of having only Sattva, Raja, Tamo Guna existing in equilibrium. And there is Purusha. These two are the Nitya elements which are neither created, they cannot be destroyed, and Purusha, when it comes in contact with the Prakriti, there occurs disequilibrium of the gunas. So, in Prakriti, Sattva, Rajas and Tamo gunas are present in equilibrium, and when Purusha comes in contact with Prakriti, this equilibrium is disturbed. And at that point, the evolution of the universe began. See, the evolution of the universe began by the samyoga of Ishwaran, the Paramatma and the Prakriti. Okay? But When Jivatma comes in contact with the Panchabhuta, Garbha happens. So, Jivatma provides life to each and every living being, whereas Paramatma is the cause of this entire universe. Transformation. So for Paramatma, there is no transformation. It always stays the same Supreme God. It has no incarnations. But Jivatma, when comes in contact with the Panchabhuta and Manas, Jivatma will misinterpret its being as a material thing. So Jivatma will indulge in worldly pleasures. Jivatma will forget that it is a part of Paramatma, it is Vibhu, it is ever-pervading, it is omnipotent. Every Jivatma will forget its being, and in order to attain that, in order to regain that sense of self, Jivatma undergoes changes, travels from birth to birth to birth, until it realizes that it is equal to Paramatma, which is a supreme God. You will attain moksha, and then you don't need any birth. If you attain moksha, you will join with the Paramatma. Okay, this is a little bit philosophy. And then about magnitude, Paramatma is ever pervading, but Jivatma, when it resides in a living being, inside a Panchabhautikatva, inside a Panchabhuta element, its ever-pervading magnitude becomes confined to the premises of that living body only. You can only see up to your eye strength. You can only hear up to your ear strength. You can only taste the food on your tongue. Okay, and so the Atma will be confined to the sense organs, to the being of that Panchabhuta element. Okay, so that is the difference between Paramatma and Jivatma. There are many differences. You can write down each and everything. I have given you a skeleton. Okay, you can continue your writing. Next we can discuss about the first classification of Purusha, which is the Chetana Dhatu Purusha. It is also called Ativahika Purusha, which is a soul responsible for birth and transmigration. Let us see how this Chetana Dhatu Purusha differs from Jivatma. Why Jivatma got that name? See, Chetana Dhatu Rapi Eka Smrita Purusha Satnyakaha. Chetana Shabdena Chetana Dharam Samanaskam Atma Grihyade. So Chetana Shabdena Chetana Dharam Samanaskam Atma. Jivatma is pure. It has no connection with the Manas. But when Jivatma comes in connection with the Manas, in contact with the Manas, Anubandha with the Manas, Jivatma becomes Ativahika Purusha. And you know inherent three gunas, Sattva, Raja and Tamo gunas. And what is the peculiarity of these gunas? Sattva guna has ability to perceive happiness. Rajo guna is an active guna, and Tamo guna is is something that gives us ignorance, something that make us sleep, like that. So when the Atma comes in contact with the Manas, Atma gets misled by the Sattva, Raja, Tamo guna, and Atma will think that all this Manas is his own. Atma and Manas, when it comes in contact, Atma will think that this Manas is his own. It is he who is having all this activity, grabbing or ignorance or sleep, thinking about the pleasures of the world. So what will happen? This Atma will start seeking a Panchabhuta material for attainment of pleasure, for attainment of its Rajo, Tamo, Gunarjita characters. Okay, so this Chetana is a one which is responsible for birth and transmigration. So when the Chetana Dhatu Purusha himself starts seeing he that is a Jivatma and Manas as separate entities, it loses its connection with the Manas, and Jivatma becomes a Vibhu, Jivatma which resides in the Paramatma. That state is called Moksha. Hope you understood. So when Jivatma comes in contact with the Manas, it actually seeks for a Panchabhuta substrate for attainment of pleasure, and then when the Jivatma realizes that this is Manas that is making him doing all these things, making him feeling all these things, then Jivatma disconnects with the Manas, and then Jivatma will attain moksha. Till that period, Jivatma will be in connection with the Manas, and Jivatma is termed as Chedana Dhatu Purushan. Chedana Dhatu Rapi Eka Smrita Purusha Sapnaka. Chedana Shabdena Chedana Dharam Samanaskam Atma Grihyade. So we have seen that when Jivatma gets connected with the Manas, it becomes Chedana Dhatu Purushan, and this Chedana Dhatu Purushan will seek a Panchabhuta substrate for the attainment of pleasure. It will seek a Sharira, just like your ghost trying to grab a Shariric satisfaction, right? So, Shuddhe Shuklartave, you have studied that sloka from Ashtanga Hridayam, first chapter. Shuddhe Shuklartave Sattva Swakarma Klesha Jodidaha Garbha Sambandhide Yukti Vashat Agni Nivarano. So, Shukla Artava Samyoga, the Sattva is Atma with Manas. Okay, Sattva is Atma with Manas due to its own Swakarma Klesha Chodidaha. That means this Manas is having certain permutation and combination of the Sattva Raja Tama Guna in it, and with that permutation and combination of Sattva Rajas Tamo Guna and the phala of his previous birth, what is his karmas in his previous birth, that karmas always depend on our psyche, okay, that karmas always depend on our Sattva Rajas Tamo Guna predominance. So based on that Manas, based on that permutation and combination of the Manas which is attached to the Jivatma will select a particular Garbha. So, if the Jivatma selects a Garbha which may be going to be blind when it is born, it is the permutation and combination of the Manas that made Jivatma select that particular disabled Garbha. Okay? You understood? It is the karma phala of that particular Atma to enter in a blind body. Okay? So, Khadeyaha Chedana Shashta Thadavaha Purusha Smrita. So, when the Chedana Dhatu Purusha comes in contact with the Panchabhuta, which is mostly the Shuklartava Samyoga. In case of Jarayuja, we are Jarayuja, we have Shuklartava, in order to Garbha, you need Shuklartava Samyoga, and that is Panchabhaudika. When the Chedana Dhatu Purusha comes in contact with the Panchabhaudika Shuklartava Samyoga, that will be transformed as Garbha, which can grow up and become an individual human being. That is called a Shaddhadu Purusha. See, Shaddhadu Purusha is nothing but Purusha when it comes in contact with the Panchabhuta. So, it can be any living thing. It can be an amoeba even. Since amoeba is living, it can be an amoeba even. When the Purusha comes in contact with the Panchabhaudika, it becomes the Shaddhadu Purusha. Okay? So, there is a very important question that is often asked. What is the importance of Shaddhadu Purusha in Kriya? It is a Asmin Shastre Panchamahabhuta Shariri Samavaya Purusha iti uchyate. Actually, Ayurveda is a health science, right? So, Ayurveda is written to provide a person, to make a person healthy, to give certain rules and regulations for a person to remain healthy, and also to treat his ailments, to come back to his health. So, for Chedana Dhatu Purusha, he is a spiritual element. He have only a Manas Amsha in it. We don't have to think about Chedana Dhatu Purusha. Why? Because he doesn't require any treatment. What can we give to him? We don't have any dravyas to treat him. So, Ayurveda is written for a Shaddadu Purusha. So Ayurveda is written for even elephants, Ayurveda is written for horses, Ayurveda is written for any living beings. You can take a rickshaw, Ayurveda is there, anything. So Ayurveda is written for a living thing. Why? Because a living thing which has a Shaddadu combination, which has Panchabhuta plus Atma combination, is a sole thing where Ayurveda is concerned of as a health science. So asmin shastre Panchamahabhuta Shariri Samavaya Purusha ityuchade. And next loga is Sapuman Chedana Tacha Tacha Athikaranam Smridam Vedasya Tadartham Hi Vedo Ayam Samprakashida. So the most important principle is a Purushan. It is a Chedana Dhatu Purushan. And for him, the entire Ayurveda is built, is written for him, for the attainment of his moksha, for the attainment of health, for that particular Sharira where the Purusha occupies, so that through Sharira he can do moksha sadhana karmas, attain moksha. So Purusha is a prime and most important element for which entire Ayurveda is written. Which is that Purusha? It is a Shaddadu Purusha. So through Sharira Vijnana, actually we are trying to understand the physiology and anatomy of this Shaddadu Purusha. When the Purusha enters a Panchamahabhuta constituents, what all things are happening, what all things are this Purusha doing in our body to make us live. What are the signs of the Purusha in it? All these things we are studying. So it is about the Shad Purusha we are really concerned of. The Shaddadu Purusha can be called as Chikilsadhikrita Purusha or Karma Purusha. See, the Shaddadu Purusha has two synonyms, Chikilsadhikrita Purusha and Karma Purusha. Shaddadu Purusha has a physical element made of Panchabhuta and a spiritual and psychological element which is made of Atma and Manas. But Chedana Dhatu Purusha is having only spiritual and psychological element. So Shaddadu Purusha he needs support. Shaddadu Purusha needs support from physical element and psychological element and spiritual element. So Ayurveda has designed three types of chikilsas. What are they? Deva Vyapasraya Chikilsa, spiritual element, Yukti Vyapasraya Chikilsa, and Sattvavajaya Chikilsa for the psychological and physical ailments. Okay, so the entire Ayurveda is written, Chikilsa is written for Shaddadu Purusha. And then if you find any ailments, you can see the Shaddadu Purushan, right? You can see the Shaddadu Purushan, you can examine the Shaddadu Purushan, you can examine for any deviation in its physiology, you can examine for the order, you can examine for any discoloration, everything you can examine. You can examine Shaddadu Purusha because he can be seen, because he is made up of Panchabhuta. And then you can give medicines also. Why? Because Panchabhautika medicines can detect any deviation in the Panchabhautika Sharira. So that is the importance of Shaddadu Purushan in Chikilsa. Mainly three importance. He can be seen, he can be examined, he can be diagnosed, then he can be cured because the combination is same, Panchabhuta combination is same, and also he has three elements and there are three types of Chikilsa explained in Ayurveda. Then comes a Chaturvimshati Dhatu Purusha. The combination is Mano Deshendriyani Arthaha Prakadishcha Ashtadhaduki. See, this Chaturvimshati Dhatu Purushan is also called Rashi Purusha. This Rashi Purusha is an example for Shaddadu Purusha. Why? Because anything which has a combination of Panchabhuta and Purusha is called Shaddadu Purusha. So Rashi Purusha is a Shaddadu Purusha. But all Shaddadu Purushas are not Rashi Purusha. Why? Because Rashi Purusha should have all the 10 Indriyas. That is, it should have Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Indriya and Vak, Pani, Pada, Payu, Upastha, Karma Indriyas. So, an animal or a being, a living thing having all the 10 indriyas, having all the 10 indriyas, who are able to recognize himself with the help of intelligence, that living thing is termed as a Chaturvimshati Purusha. Okay, Manas, Jnanendriyas, Karmendriyas and Indriyarthas are the main identification for a Chaturvimshati Dhatu Purusha. Then there comes a dilemma, because Ayurveda believes in Deva, that means Vishnu, Shiva, Brahma, Indra, Varuna, etc. All these persons are having what? Manas, Deshendriyani, then Ardhaha. All these persons, Devas and Manushas, are having all these Manasa, Deshendriyani, Ardhaha. So Rashi Purusha do not include Devas. So you have studied Avyapti, Adivyapti, Asambhavam. So if he is keeping the definition like Mano, Deshendriyani, Arthaha, then what will happen? All the Devas will be included under Rashi Purusha along with the humans. So he added another limb, Prakrtischa Ashtadadugi, which means it has Avyakta, Mahad, Ahangaram, Panchamahabhuta. That 8 things, Panchatanmatra, that 8 things is not there for, because they have Deva Sharira. They are not made up of Panchatanmatra, Panchamahabhuta, Panchatanmatra. So their bodies are eternal, not like us. So he added that limb so that he restricts this inside the earth only, not the Devas. Okay? Rashi Purusha enjoys worldly pleasures, memorizes and identifies itself with the help of Buddhi, Indriya, Manas and Artha. So I think now you very well understood the classification of Purusha. The first is Jivatma, which is equivalent to Paramatma, soul that attain moksham. Then comes a Chedana Dhatu Purusha. It is a Jivatma associated with the Manas. Then comes a Shaddhatu Purusha. It is a Chedana Dhatu Purusha associated with the Panchamahabhutas. And then comes a Chaturvimshati Dhatu Purusha. It is a Shaddhatu Purusha that is having all the 10 Indriyas in it, Karmendriyas and Jnanendriyas in it. Then there is another classification in Susruta Samhita, which is a Panchavimshati Purusha. Panchavimshati Dhatu Purusha. That is nothing but, you have studied, I think you have studied Sharirasthanam, Susrutam, their evolution. After evolution, you are getting 24 tattvas, and this 24 tattvas, when added with Atma, it becomes 25 tattva Purusha, Panchavimshati Dhatu Purusha.